parents are such a pain, such intolerable creatures. They keep bugging you. They don't give you the freedom you want and ruin your life.
Yes.
Keep it up. But let's see how far that statement is true. Respected Toastmasters, fellow Gavaliers, and distinguished guests, a very warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Have you ever heard the Sanskrit phrase, Mata Pita Guru Deva? It means, mother, father, and teachers are the visible gods on earth. Do you remember those days when your father put you on his back and walked on 4 legs like an elephant? With great expectation, they waited to see their baby grow and admired you at every step of your growth. And as each year passes by, when you become an adult, they expect your shoulder to be a support for their fragile hands. Due to the thrust of modern cultures, the traditional love and affection towards old-aged parents have tremendously deteriorated. Unable to suffer the torture and abuse of their own children, many parents finally get themselves into old-age homes. Many of you may have noticed that old-age homes are mushrooming in every corner of the world. Under the selfish dream of their own better home, many young couples tend to send their parents to a very bitter home. Once, a frail old man went to live with his son, daughter-in-law, and 4-year-old grandson. During every meal, the elderly father's shaky hands and failing eyesight made eating difficult. Peas rolled off his spoon, milk spilled on the tablecloth, and food fell on the floor. The daughter-in-law was extremely irritated by this daily mess. She told her husband, "We must do something about your father. I've had enough of this spilled milk, food on the floor, and his noisy eating." So from the next day onwards, the old man was secluded from the rest of the family. He was made to eat in another corner of the room where he ate in silence. And since he had broken a dish or two, his food was served in a wooden bowl. The 4-year-old grandson watched all this in silence. One fine day, when the father returned from his work, he saw his little boy playing around with some wooden scrapes. He looked at them and he asked him very sweetly, "What are you doing, sweetheart?" The little boy just as sweetly replied, "Oh, Daddy, I'm making this wooden bowl so that you and Mama can eat from this when you both grow old." The little boy smiled and went back to work. But those words struck the father like a thunderbolt, and he remained speechless. Tears rolled down his eyes. He realized his mistake. And that evening, he gently brought back his father to the family table, where the old man ate for the rest of his days. My dear friends, more than anything in this world, our parents expect our love and support when they grow old. They see many couples around them getting rid of their parents on purpose. They probably don't tell us anything then, but they always dread being in that situation. Our parents have sacrificed a lot of their desires, wishes, and hopes just for our sake, just to see us with that smile. And then there's nothing that can make them more happy. We, not being adults yet, barely think of all this. But they do. They probably don't express it at all. But every parent lives with a fear deep inside of being abandoned by their child one day. Yet, they do their duty of loving us and caring for us more than anything in this huge world. They expect us to be there for them when we become adults and don't need them anymore. Because that is when they need us. And we give them our last priority, while we were always their first priority. My dear friends, let's not forget the fact that our life itself is a gift from our parents. There are so many millions of children living in the world, not having parents, wishing they had them. Aren't you glad you're not one of them? And there are so many other millions of children living in the world with the bitter knowledge that they have been abandoned by their parents on purpose. Aren't you glad you're not one of them either? So now tell me, my dear friends, don't you think it's our duty to fulfill all their dreams, desires, hopes, and wishes? Many of us may very often think, what are such intolerable creatures doing around me? But the bottom line is, be glad you have